Hello YouTube, as you can see from the title above, today I'm going to talk about Revelations.
This is 0612 TV.
Welcome aboard.
So, Revelations. Well, it's nowhere as serious as it sounds, but today I'm going to tell you some stuff I never knew about, some stuff I own. Now, the original intent of this video is to actually follow up on two of my recent reviews, so to speak, of certain items that I recently got. And now that I've found out more, I thought I'd just add on to it. However, before the filming of this episode, something happened that allowed me to add an extra revelation to the list. So today's video is going to be quite strange. As always, this video is going to come to you in 3 parts, except these 3 parts have nothing to do with each other. Part 1 concerns the printer that I recently got, or should I say my dad recently got. And you remember that in my first review video, I told you that the printer was kinda slow. Before printing every page, the paper just goes there and it just sits there for a while before the page actually prints. And back then, I didn't actually understand why. I thought, just go, what are you waiting for? And now I found out. You see, the trick is to print in grayscale. If you don't need color, don't print in color. Here's the reason why. In this clip, you can see that the paper seems to be waiting there for a while, and you wonder what it's doing, right? So what I've done is, I've actually gone up to the printer with my camera because I wanted you to listen to the sound it makes. So listen to this. Now, upon closer inspection, you realize what that deep rumbling sound is. In fact, this printer has this rotating carousel, and the reason for that is on this carousel, all the cartridges of toner are being stored sort of in a circular fashion. So if you want to actually change toner cartridges, you do actually have to press this button, which will rotate the carousel, which will then reveal a different cartridge each time. So the reason why it's waiting so long is because when the paper goes in, first, the black cartridge is rotated out and toner is deposited. Then the carousel is rotated to the next position with the next cartridge, and that color is deposited, and you have to repeat that 4 times for each one of the toner cartridges. That of course takes a while, the rotation itself takes a while, the depositing of toner takes a while, and that adds up to a little bit of a waiting time. So only when all the toner is nicely deposited is the paper actually pulled through and the print made. So if you don't need to print in color, specify the black and white option, and guess what? It doesn't have to actually rotate the carousel to apply the different colors. It simply needs to stay on black, and it will print all your pages really quickly because it doesn't have to do the whole spinning thing. In fact, your time should be reduced to a quarter of the original time if we were to count it in, a naive fashion. And yes indeed, look at this clip. I'm printing in grayscale and the pages are coming out really quickly. So there you go. I originally thought that, something's wrong with this printer, but nope, that is exactly the way it's supposed to act. So if you want it to go fast, well, you can, by just throwing away the colored printing. Now, the next revelation is a pretty ugly one, and it involves this. The power fault that I reviewed maybe 2 weeks ago. I think it's 2 weeks ago. Just to briefly recap, this is a portable USB charger. As you can see, there is a USB output here, and it is powered by 2 AAA batteries. To charge these 2 AAA batteries, you can plug this into any USB port. So my purpose for getting this is to charge my phone on the go, because on some days I actually do flatten out the battery after an entire day at uni. And if I wanted to continue listening to podcasts on a bus, I do need a source of power sometimes. The unfortunate thing, I'm not sure if I actually referred to this during my power fault review. I believe I did, because I pointed out the amperage of this guy. This guy outputs a maximum of 500 milliamps. Now, my phone requires nearly 1 ampere to charge. So what that means is, by connecting this to my phone, I am actually overloading this guy. And guess what? This guy, in fact, cannot charge my phone at all. So I tried this one day on a bus. My phone was actually running quite low on power, which is why I plugged this in. For a brief period of about 10 minutes, it did charge my phone, but then during that time, this entire thing got alarmingly hot, and I was like, okay, as long as you don't explode, I'll keep it connected for science. And I did, and I could see the indication on my phone the rate of charge is actually very low. It's almost equal to the rate of discharge, because my phone actually draws a graph so you can see, and essentially at that portion it was just a straight line. It didn't actually decrease, which shows that this guy was actually topping up some energy to the phone, but it wasn't increasing either, which means this isn't very effectively charging it. The worst part is, after 10 minutes, this guy just gave up. My phone was able to see that it was plugged in, but it said it was not charging. In other words, this guy just couldn't give it enough power. A while later, my phone refused to even say it's connected. It just thinks it's disconnected and it continues discharging. So the power fault got really hot, and I actually neglected to recharge this. And the next time I connected it to my phone just refused to see it being there at all. So the bottom line is, this is probably not enough to charge my phone. In other words, I bought the wrong thing. So hooray. Our last revelation, which is not on my script because I only realized that maybe 15 minutes before shooting, is that the Nikon Coolpix P500, which I use to shoot all my videos, cannot actually shoot and charge at the same time. Now, here's a bit of background as to why I've only just encountered this problem and not before. Now, normally I film once a week, so I keep my batteries pretty fresh. I keep topping them up. I have 3 batteries, by the way, and I just rotate them, so they are kept pretty fresh. However, as you know, last weekend I kinda had some school stuff going on, so I didn't actually shoot Highlight Sundays, and the Monday video you watched was actually shot the previous week. Which means I essentially just left my camera and all the battery stuff just sitting around. And so today, all 3 batteries were on half power. In fact, I'm on my 3rd battery right now, and I still have 1 more video to shoot, so I shouldn't ramble so much. So anyway, I thought I could, as a last resort, actually plug it into the power and let it shoot while being powered. So it's kinda like shooting on AC, but to my surprise, when I actually connected it, the camera just switched off. When I disconnected it, I could switch the camera back on it and it could work as per normal. But when I connected it back, the same thing happened again, and none of the buttons are responsive. And the same applies when I connect this camera to a mains power source or to USB via my laptop. So what this means is, I have to shoot on battery power. I'm actually forced to shoot on battery power, and if my batteries are wonky, it sort of makes shooting a little bit more difficult. So there you go, 3 revelations, 1 positive and 2 not so positive. And I guess that's how technology works. The more you interact with your devices, the more you find out about them. And it's not always good revelations. And on that note, that's all there is for today's episode. If you have any comments, queries or suggestions, feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate every like, favorite and subscription you give me. But until next time, you're watching 0612 TV.